Hi, we're Cameron and Anna, and we're going to be presenting our marketing innovation presentation. Our theme is product aesthetics. So, first, we're going to start by defining what it is. We will start with a sentence that we found in an article that says the application of a new marketing method involving significant changes in the design or packaging of a product, its positioning, promotion, or pricing. So, which factors does it take into account? The design of the product aesthetics takes into account several factors such as product design, packaging, placement, promotion, pricing, or research and development. Thus, what is the importance of being visually attractive? The fact that the product is visually attractive not only generates consumer satisfaction, but also leads, as a result of the feedback, to brand loyalty and value. This means that through design, brands can get consumers to increase their loyalty in such a way that more value is captured from them, and thus increase sales and improve brand positioning and recognition.
So one of the first companies that we're going to be looking at is Apple. They're a multinational technology company headquartered in Cupertino, California, that designs, develops, and sells customer electronics, computer software, online services. Many people know it as one of the big four technology companies alongside Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. And it was founded by Steve Jobs, again, in 1976. And the reason we're going to be talking about Apple is because they have one of the most innovative designs in terms of a technology product. Even when it came out at the time with its other competing products, a lot of people flocked to this brand because of its very innovative. And when we're looking at Apple, the product aesthetic includes the shape, the color, the size, the texture, the proportion, and the symmetry of the product. And so when people were looking at the first iPhone, a lot of people were drawn to the shape of it. It was very simple, it was very minimalistic, it fit in your hand very well, and the texture too. It was very sleek, it didn't slip, it was very fit in your hand, along with the proportions. That was almost perfect to your hand. People could swipe up and down with their thumb. The screen looked very crystal clear, and that drew a lot of people to it. And even then, it was simply just black and silver on the back, and that very minimalistic and sleek design and that aesthetic made it seem futuristic. When Apple was first designing their products, they had two goals in mind. They wanted to create a simple design, and they wanted that consumer satisfaction to be based on that design. And so in the article, one of the chief technology officer at the time who was creating the product, he wanted to make it so that the iPhone could not be made in any other way in the eyes of the consumers. The consumers wanted to see this product and say that, wow, this is the perfect aesthetic, this is the perfect design for the iPhone. Another key success factor of the iPhone is that it was a pioneer in the big screen. Is that a lot of times the other competitors, they were focusing on, they had the buttons on the phone, they had a very small screen, it was very hard to maneuver. And what the iPhone did is that it totally revolutionized the industry by doing a touch screen display in which the entire front screen was a crystal clear screen where you could use tap, touch recognition, and it was just a very simple design. And that kind of went into the consumer's mind, where people thought, wow, this is a very premium product because it was so simple. And that ease of use with the product is what led it to become a futuristic design. It was the simplicity that made it futuristic. And so that's what Apple was trying to achieve. They were trying to achieve perfection in the simplicity. And so their competitive edge was that, yes, they're being risky because no other company was doing it at the time, but they knew that if they were committed to this design that was very simple, very elegant, then that brand loyalty would come in the future. And in the definition of aesthetic itself, it is something about the product that goes into the consumer's mind and makes them feel some sort of satisfaction. And so with Apple, the root of the design is to perceive the object and the experience. And so with the aesthetic, Apple knew that this could create an experience with people. It could create customer brand loyalty in which they would come back because it was so simple, and they didn't need to go to any other product because it was so simple, so elegant, fit right in their hand, exactly how it should be. And that's what led to the brand loyalty of Apple. Now, as we were saying before, it's not just the product itself that has the aesthetic. A lot of times it can be the logo, it can be the user interface that people are interacting with on the actual product. And in the case of the iPhone, it wasn't just the outside exterior of the phone that was simple and elegant, but it was the user interface. And as we've seen over the years, they've fine-tuned it and they've refined it to be simpler and simpler. But we saw that right when the iPhone came out, it was a very simple user interface. And so the operation system of the iOS, it was very easy to use. You had the general settings, text messages, emails, very simple icons, and the colors really popped at the time. And as Apple has grown as a company, they've gotten more revenue, they've gotten more of the market share, they fine-tune this even more to be more customized to people. So now you even have Siri, you have in the general settings, you can customize your phone to how you want it to be. And so even though it's not a physical aesthetic that you can touch within the product itself, is that's what draws people in, and that's why people keep coming back, because it's so easy to use.
Our second and final example is Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton is a well-known luxury clothing brand and one of the most prestigious globally, along with Chanel, Gucci, and other brands. It was founded in 1854 by Louis Vuitton in Paris, France. We have chosen it because it is a reference in the luxury clothing sector and is one of the most innovative brands. It is also interesting because the innovation used by this brand is not in the aesthetics of the product but in the aesthetics of the distribution channels, which in this case is engaged to the product. First, we will talk about the exterior of the stores. Here we find three examples: a store in London, another in Moscow, another in Beverly Hills. As you can see, the designs are extraordinary, extravagant, and original, and they make people want to go in to discover what it is. In Moscow, we can see that literally Louis Vuitton decided to build a store in the shape of a medium-sized bag in a Moscow square, as it is one of its core businesses and a reference point for the brand. We can see in the other two cases how the styles of the stores are very striking, as Louis Vuitton is above all very focused on international consumption, and so managed to draw the attention of consumers by standing out from its competitors. One of the key success factors of Louis Vuitton are the pop-up stores or traveler stores, temporary commercial spaces. The space can be a sample sale one day and wait for a private event the next day. Pop-up stores are temporary stores that allow brands to have a presence in the most emblematic and popular places of the cities, and to extend their presence in the market during a certain time. They are experiential marketing offered by companies with a direct sales channel. They represent an effective way to build customer loyalty and the possibility of discovering new markets. They allow brands to create a unique atmosphere that involves their customers as well as generate feelings of relevance and interactivity. Temporary stores are particularly suitable for seasonal campaigns. In the case of Louis Vuitton, these seasonal changes are made each time a new collection of clothing is launched. They redecorate the design of the stores in an original way to attract more customers and emphasize that unique and innovative style that has the brand. As you can see, in these examples, two in Bangkok and one in Beijing, the decoration of the shops is really original, and you can't find it in any other of the fashion shops. The last examples are two pop-ups in London and New York, where we can also see their extravagant and original designs that perfectly represent the Louis Vuitton brand, since, as we have mentioned, is one of the most representative luxury brands globally and thus maintains its brand's image very glamorous and with many designs. Reflecting this in the stores increases consumer loyalty. As a conclusion, the case of Louis Vuitton has caught our attention since we believe that it perfectly represents the innovation in aesthetics of a brand, and in this case, it causes the design of the stores to be an experience for the consumer, as we have mentioned, because the consumer journey is an experience from the outside that is already striking and evokes that desire to enter until the moment the consumer pays while he is surrounded by that decoration that reminds him that he is in a unique and irreplaceable premium store. Thank you for your attention. We hope you liked the video.